Yo, guys, Urban Barz brings you the best UK reactions to rap, hip hop, and urban music from all around world. And guys, tonight we got our man Ren back in the house. And I'm not going to say anything more, guys, except here at Urban Barz, we're going to check out our man Ren, and we're checking out Eden.
Let me tell you a story as old as time, the story of Adam and Eve.
It looks like an arcade game, isn't it? Let me tell you a story as old as time, the story of Adam and Eve. Guys, this is like an arcade game. Reminds me of like Scramble, Space Invaders, or anything way back in the days. It's our man Ren. He's going to tell us a story.
Let me tell you a story as old as time, the story of Adam and Eve. It starts with a God who wanted more. God had just created the heavens and the earth. He had the angels by his side, but they had no will of their own. And so the autonomy to love or reject him was never theirs. All but for one, the once called bringer of light.
The light bringer, the light giver, the Satan. But guys, this is interesting. So we're getting a journey, a trip from Genesis 1 through Genesis 6 maybe? Really? Let's go.
Lucifer, morning star. Lucifer was the fairest and most intelligent of all the angels. He was the closest thing to God's image, and in his likeliness, Lucifer felt restless. He began to question and doubt God. He doubted the hierarchy imposed upon him. He felt God was arrogant. In his frustration, Lucifer built a throne.
Because he wanted to ascend to be like God. But Lucifer was the music bringer, as we will find out further on.
Stood even above gods and declared mutiny. A war ensued. God, being all-powerful, came out the victor and banished Lucifer from the heavens and exiled him to earth. Once again, God was alone with his power. Perhaps from loneliness, perhaps from curiosity, perhaps from a desire to share love, God began to work on his greatest project yet, a being that would mirror himself, the human, two humans specifically, Adam and Eve. They were placed inside a paradise built for them on earth, the Garden of Eden. In the garden, God placed a tree that bared fruit that would grant anyone who ate it powers bestowed only to a God to tell good from evil.
You got the snake there. Really? I like this. So I thought we're going to get a song or something, but literally we're getting a story about the beginning of life, guys. We're getting a story from the very, very beginning. And it's in the words of our man Ren. He understands a lot. Well, I know the story very well myself, guys, as I've been brought up, born and bred a Christian, guys. So I know the story very, very well. So at times I might interject in this. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know, but I know a lot about the story here. So it'd be interesting to see what Ren's take is.
Left from right, to live righteously or to sin. He named this the tree of knowledge. God told Adam and Eve they could eat whatever they wanted in the garden, but never the fruit from the tree of knowledge. And if they disobeyed him, it would be punishable by death. The basic way the story of Eden is told is that Eve was tempted by Lucifer in the form of a serpent to eat a fruit from the tree of knowledge. Convinced, she bit the fruit.
I like the way you hear the whispering of the Satan in your ears.
She passed it to Adam and he did the same. Suddenly, ultimate knowledge filled their minds and they realized they were naked and felt shame. God discovered this betrayal and felt angered. He exiled Adam and Eve and cursed them with the life of a mortal. They would work, they would bear children, and they would die. The fate of a human. Now look deeper.
In the story, the serpent tempted me by telling me I would gain ultimate knowledge and that God would spare me.
Both were true.
This wasn't some great deception, meaning that Satan, in the likeliness of God, perhaps understood his intentions. In fact,
The only lie uttered in the
Garden of Eden was
by God, who did not end up
condemning
Adam and Eve to
death.
This could be seen as an act of
Mercy, but the sheer fact that the tree existed and that humans
were initially cut off from this knowledge
may imply some part of God was afraid that if humans were granted the gift of perception, they, like Lucifer, would have the power to reject him too. The fact that there stood a beautiful tree that could
grant this knowledge in the first place
implies that a small part of
God, supposedly all-knowing,
perhaps wanted and intended
the humans to
bite too.
In the Bible, Satan was an exiled angel of free will. Humans are exiled
descendants of Adam and Eve,
also with free will. Not only have we shared a similar fate to the devil, we were also both constructed in the image of our Creator.
constructed in the image of our Creator,
meaning our behaviors, in some shape or form, imperfectly echo his.
We could assume that this kind of
God has his doubts, but as the most
powerful
being in the universe,
he has no one above him
to turn to with questions, and no one to
doubt but himself, an incredibly lonely and isolating existence.
We must only assume that the common thread between God, Lucifer, and us is the desire for more, an eternal curiosity, a desire perhaps birthed from a seed of loneliness. If not, why would we exist in the first place?
So this is Ren's take, which is very interesting. I think everyone's got their own different takes, their own perceptions, their own versions, their own images of what we think happened and what we think is the reason why we exist. And some people think there is no reason why it exists. So it's interesting. So if you speak to 2 or 3 different people, you may get 2 or 3 totally different viewpoints. But let's carry on.
The constantly looping bittersweet irony is whether gifted by some omnipotent God or simply a byproduct of billions of years of evolution, here we stand in 2023 as creatures with free will, the only creatures that understand and define good from bad, creatures with the potential of a God. And what do we do with that free will, my friends? We willingly walk to the edge of a cliff. In the name of progress, we jump off the precipice. The empires we build ravage the earth. The natural order of things are necessary to survive. Any systems which do not honor homeostasis eventually perish. Our free will overrides our own biological instinct. We can take more than we eat. We can kill more than we need. We can willingly create weapons with the potential to burn everything we've built to the ground. We willingly decide to bow at the altar of greed, the most insidious and destructive of all sins. We put our faith in corporations who pose as rulers. We willingly allow ourselves to be led by outdated power systems.
It's interesting that Ren has absolutely hit the nail on the head here. He's hitting both sides of the coin. So when people say, yeah, let's veer left or let's veer right, well, actually there is no difference. We're all the same people. So this must have been taken a few years ago, because we've got the is it the Chancellor of Germany here? She's now retired, and I've forgotten her name, so I do apologize on that. You've got Trump here, you've got Macron, you've got the Saudis, etc. You've got the Chinese. I don't really follow politics that much. It's a shame because I can't remember half of these people's names, which is a bit of a shame. But there you go. There you go. So they're all there. Oh, the system's coming to a bit of a... Oh, this is the G20 summit in Hamburg. This must be about 2 or 3 years ago, people.
Ran by corrupted politicians
and bloated dictators who claim domain and dominion over an open and free land.
We willingly elect the corrupted when...
David Cameron. It's really weird because he's back now. He's in the House of Lords, but he's now the Foreign Secretary. It's weird how things come back. It's almost like a bookend, isn't it?
The decision was always ours to build something better. We willingly create and impose separation because of beliefs that we are force-fed through our phones and television sets. We always had the will to reject these things, but we adhere to them as though they were the laws of physics. War, famine, pestilence, greed, these aren't things imposed.
It's almost like the 4 horsemen of death: famine, war, pestilence, and death. Well, so the 4 horsemen, some people think they're riding right this minute, but It is what it is, people.
We willingly create and impose separation because of beliefs that we are force-fed through our phones and television sets. We always had the will to reject these things, but we adhere to them as though they were the laws of physics. War, famine, pestilence, greed, these aren't things imposed upon us by an all-powerful God or by his demonic adversary. They are here because of us, not because of free will, but because of our inability to use it. We must be motivated to be better, not out of fear of punishment of an eternal damnation, but because the choice exists, because we love ourselves, because we have the power to absolve ourselves of so much unnecessary suffering. Take a second to be in this very moment. In this moment, how much suffering is happening all over the planet right now? How many people are dying of illnesses that could have easily been cured, but aren't because of the selfishness and greediness of humanity? How many people break their backs and reject their own passions to simply afford bills and food? How many of us crave distraction from existence? How many of us numb that pain in whatever way necessary? How many children are being abused? How many people sleep cold and hungry on the streets? How many of us become cogs inside a machine that is destroying itself? How many soldiers have been forced to fight in meaningless wars? How many humans have killed for ideals they don't believe in or understand? How many people have died for the greed of another man? And how much of this was avoidable? As written in the Bible, Satan was not condemned to hell. Satan was condemned to earth.
That's true. Very true.
He lives there amongst other creatures with free will, who always had the choice and still chose their own undoing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our self-made hell. The bittersweet irony is this is a creation of our own design. I'll leave you with this. Consider what you have done here today. You have worked together as individuals collaborating to form a giant neural network, a hive mind capable of achieving incredible things.
Hive mind.
We have lent on each other's strengths to solve puzzles and decipher riddles. And we've done so to win money. Imagine applying that same spirit and determination to creating the closest thing we have to paradise here on Earth. By using the power of collaboration, we can work together to even a plane.
Oh, that's Ren, isn't it? Hang on.
And determination to creating the closest.
Don't know this chap, but
Thing we have
hang on.
to paradise here on Earth.
There, that's Ren, isn't it, people? So this must have been done a few years ago. So he's talking about that we can actually create a paradise here on Earth. We can create or we can recreate Eden back on Earth. Because when God created Adam and Eve, he put them in Eden. Some people say it's situated around the Euphrates. Was it the River Tigris? I can't remember, but the Euphrates. But that was the perfect place for the human beings to be on Earth. But it was only once they ate from the apple that he banished them from Eden. And some people are still trying to find out where Eden is, where the Garden of Eden is on Earth. But this is Ren, so this must have been a few years ago, people. That is Ren, isn't it, people? Trust me. Who's this? Is that Beckham? Is that Beckham? I don't know. Don't get me twisted, people, guys. I have no idea who that guy is. Just looking from the angle, but who knows?
Using the power of collaboration, we can work together to.
No, it's not, is it? Really? Sometimes, people, I really do need to get checked from the head up or from the neck up, people. Trust me on that. It'll give my head a shake. But it is what it is, people. It's all live, not Memorex.
Even a playing field for everybody. Our dystopias can become utopias. Our Jahannams can become Jannah. Our hells can become heaven, right here on Earth. And this sentiment applies to atheists, agnostics, and believers alike. Myself, I'm an agnostic who believes. I believe in us. We must do better because we can choose to. We must be better simply because the option exists. Thank you.
Ooh. So guys, that was Ren and that was Eden. That must have been about almost 10 minutes long, something like that, guys. I'd love to get your comments. What do you think of that, guys? How did it make you feel? Did it make you think? Where do you stand in the debate? Are you somewhere on the left, some on the right? Are you dead in the center, or do you have no opinion at all? I mean, that was interesting. So I'm not going to comment too much in it. I'm just going to say that that was an interesting point from Ren. So he stated the case, he set the scenario, set the scene, and he says that we can achieve paradise, nirvana, whatever you want to call it here on Earth. Do you agree with Ren? Do you disagree with Ren? Interesting points, guys. So I'd love you to watch that again. I'm going to watch it again and just go through it. It's a bit unfair for me because I know the story back to front, front to back, side to side, know it each which way from Friday, guys. So I shouldn't really comment too much on that. So I know the whole story, scenario, or whatever you want to call it, from this way and that way. So it's not really fair for me to comment, but if you guys want to comment down here in the comment section. Just let us know which way you're thinking, and do you agree with Ren? Do you disagree with Ren? You know, is there another way? Who knows? Let me know in the comment section. But that was interesting. I didn't think we'd hear something like that. It's the first time I've heard anything like that from really any artist, to be honest with you. I was expecting to hear some kind of song, video or something. I don't even know what you want to call that. Is that something that you'd probably hear in a university when you invite someone to address the students? You'd hear it in other scenarios, but I didn't expect to hear Ren deliver something like that. But Ren is, you know, Ren is a person to himself, a law unto himself, and he will speak to you and talk to you about whatever's on his mind or whatever's coming from within. So if it's something like this where he wants to deliver something that he wants you to think about and to really take to heart, he'll do it. If he wants to deliver a song, a rap, or whatever, Ren will do it. So that was interesting, and it's nice sometimes to actually hear from someone and to hear something which is heartfelt from themselves. So you're hearing a bit more and discovering a bit more about Ren, who Ren is, where Ren's at, and what Ren is thinking about and which way he's coming from. So that was interesting to me. I really enjoyed that. So I hope you did, people. And it's always nice to hear something fresh and refreshing. So guys, that was our man Ren. That was Eden. And that was, wow, that was an eye-opener. Here at Urb'n Barz, guys, I love to hear things like this. And I love to hear what you guys are thinking as well. And I'm just going to end it as I always do, guys. Whatever you get up to, make certain you look after yourselves. You look after each other. If you've already subscribed to my channel here at Urb'n Barz, thank you so much, guys. If you haven't subscribed to Urb'n Barz, guys, I would love you to subscribe, and I would love to keep doing this, guys. And only the reason and the only way that I can keep doing this is if you guys subscribe and listen and like and do all those wonderful things that help on the old YT algorithm. But above all of that, guys, I'm going to watch that again because that was interesting. I'm going to watch it again. But above all of that, guys, make certain you come back to the next Urb'n Barz reaction, guys.